Hey, Chris.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good.
Do you want me to take notes or how do you want to do that?
I have a document open that I can put some notes in, just sort of using the same format as the agenda.
Okay,
Is that a good, appropriate way to do it?
sure. Andrea, you're on every meeting.
I'm here again.
Hello,
Hello, Chris.
how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, nice to
How
meet
are you
you.
this evening?
Pretty good.
She's been following all the subcommittee meetings. Trying to learn.
I have been. I'm intrigued to see what's going on in Wakefield.
Awesome. Well, this is the first meeting of this particular subcommittee.
So we have to like
Welcome.
call it to order and do all those things.
All that good stuff.
So, yeah, Melissa, this is my first time chairing a subcommittee, so I don't really know what all the steps are. So feel free to walk me through, but do I need to officially call this to order?
Yeah.
Okay, calling to order. Subcommittee meeting of the GHG inventory subcommittee of the Environmental Sustainability Committee.
At 7:30. 7:32.
All right.
So yeah, first thing is public participation. You have anything to add, Andrea?
No, I'm just very glad to be here and glad somebody's thinking about greenhouse gas emissions in Wakefield.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Are we supposed to take note of names and addresses of people who attend from public
No,
participation?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay. Well, the only other thing that was on the agenda, really, as we're kind of getting started with this process, was to take a look at the options that we might have for starting to gather information for a greenhouse gas emissions inventory for the town. Per discussion in the Environmental Sustainability Committee meetings in the past, between Melissa and I, had sort of talked about two potential options, which we can get into, and also would be open to discussing others. So I guess moving into that portion of the meeting, we can just bring those up, and I do have some of the documents open here, which I can also screen share if that's helpful.
Sure.
All right, let me get the screen share going here. All right, let's see. Okay, you guys can see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this first one is the MAPC, so Metropolitan Area Planning Council or Commission, greenhouse gas inventory tools. It's made specifically for municipalities. It was developed in collaboration between the MAPC and several towns. I think it was Arlington, Natick, and Melrose.
Yeah.
And I came across this and thought it seemed good because it was kind of Massachusetts specific, and there were some towns near us that have used it. And on the website, they provide this blank Excel template to use with some guidance. I think there's a user's guide along with it.
Yep.
And actually the one that I have open now is an example, which is the completed inventory by the town of, or city, I think, of Natick, which I think is useful just to see one that's done, you know, as opposed to just sort of all blank.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I haven't spent a whole lot of time with really either of these, but you know, I thought we could poke around at these today and ask questions and kind of peruse them and see if either one seems preferable for us to kind of start. And I think that we don't necessarily need to like just decide one right now and stick with it. I mean, one thing we could do is use these to just get a sense of the kinds of information that we're going to need to start gathering, sort of start on that process of starting to gather information and not necessarily lock in just yet. But I thought it'd just be useful to kind of spend a little time looking at these and
Yeah.
you know, getting a sense of what's involved.
Yeah. So this one was definitely recommended to me. And also considering like Melrose, which is right next to us, used it and found it to be very helpful. I know. And also the Mass Energy Insight data, I believe we already have some data in there from the utility.
Mhm.
So we can get access to that. Jen Kelly, who's a commissioner, can provide access for us. So like a lot of the energy data we can get pretty easily. And I think we want to use 2021 as our inventory year. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry about my dog. So yeah, I think we should use 2021 as the inventory year because that is the year used for the green communities base year.
Okay. That makes sense. So was that sort of like the first, so I know we're kind of just getting enrolled in the green communities or just submitted to that, right?
Yeah, so we're enrolled.
We're enrolled, we're in. But
We're just like finishing up some like loose ends right now.
yeah, that makes perfect sense to me to kind of align with that as far as the base year. In my you know, day job, we do not really for municipalities, but we do greenhouse gas inventory for customers, for institutional customers, and that question of what's the base year kind of comes up a lot. And what we find is usually there's more than one because it sort of depends on what your targets are and what your goals are. So it's sort of being like a sort of something that can theoretically move around a little bit, but for the purposes of what we're trying to do here, I agree. Let's just pick a year, align it with the green communities, and say that's the first time period we're going to focus on. So I think that's a good thing to establish. Do we want to you know, review this as opposed to the other tool? I mean, I'm pretty open to going with this or just sort of like starting off with using this as a framework as opposed to the other one, which just for the record is the DOER. I'm going to look up what the sort of official name of the tool is. the community GHG inventory tool, which was produced by the US Department of Energy, to my understanding. But I'm all for kind of just heading down the path of working off of this MAPC tool for the time being.
Yeah, I think it would be a better way to go considering it's Massachusetts focused.
Mhm.
And, you know, we have an example of Massachusetts data already in here. We know that local neighboring towns have used it. So I think, like, you know, if we fill it out and we think like it's not useful, you know, we could look at other options, but I think starting with this is a good way to go.
Sounds good. All right. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to find my so I guess another thing that might be good to do is just kind of quickly, you know, run through some of the parts of this and talk about what data is needed and where we might get it. I think just sort of like in summary, you know, a big portion of it's going to be the energy data, which if it's sort of already available through that Mass Energy Insights, then, you know, that's going to probably streamline a lot of that. And
Yeah.
looking at this now, so this is going to basically be,
But I'm not sure if the Mass Energy Insight has all the data that we need. Like, I haven't actually gotten access to it yet. So I don't know what happens if you just click on that. Does anything happen?
yeah, it is bringing me to the, this is a login page. So,
Okay, so we do need to get the login. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'll get that login from Jen and try to see what's in there, because I'm not sure if it's just the data for the green communities that is strictly, you know, municipal buildings. It's not townwide. So
Right.
to get a better understanding of what's in there.
Yeah, I guess looking at just reading the note here as we talk, but it seems like that's going to be just municipal building energy consumption. So it's not additive to any data that we would get that would be representing the entire municipality.
Yeah, okay, so Mass Energy is just municipal data. Okay,
Yeah,
is that what it says?
it seems like it. And that,
Operations. Okay, yeah.
that's consistent with my understanding of it. I
Okay,
guess
so then we would have to get the rest of the data from the utility
right,
for residential and commercial.
right. It talks here about you know, mass save data.
But we're municipal utility.
Right, so it's not going to be available.
Yeah, so we would go to that green box for municipal. It says, see below for municipal utilities.
Should I keep going down? Yeah, I see this here. Municipal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these would be changed.
Yeah. But that's just municipal operations.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know where you would put like the residential.
Well, let me do this. I guess just to see if anything happens, I will update these to say,
Oh, I guess we can choose our,
yeah, here we go. I don't think that necessarily changed.
no, I don't think that does anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay. Yeah. So this is where we put that in. Okay. So I think we got some clarity there. So we're not going to get anything through MassSave because of the municipality. So we
I
basically,
don't know if you want to put like notes on the side of these boxes, just like as we're talking.
right.
So like, just put like, probably this isn't applicable for us. It says if your community obtains electricity or municipal, do not enter that consumption in this table. Okay. So yeah, we don't have to, yeah.
Good. Done. First
Well,
section
I
complete.
I don't know if we want to put like NA instead of 0. Or just leave it blank, because putting a number in there means that we have data.
That's a good point. Do not enter. Okay. Okay. And then, okay, so for this section, the follow-up is you're going to check with Jennifer about seeing if we can get access to the Mass Energy
Yeah.
Insight. Cool.
Yeah.
And it seems like, yeah, this is an optional thing, but would give us a perspective on, you know, the amount out of this total town emissions. This would be data on the municipally owned and operated buildings, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then we have community choice aggregation.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Okay. So you do not.
We have something, I guess, no, I don't think it's considered community choice. We have that
Green choice or
green choice, yeah, but I don't think it's the same.
right.
Because you don't have like different options to pick different percentages or anything. It's just like an add-on.
Right.
Yeah, it says if you don't have it, skip this table.
Just gonna do the same then and just basically delete out
Yeah.
any entries. Okay, so then this is
So this would
what?
be from WGMLD.
Cool.
Now heating oil is going to be tricky because we don't track that. I don't know if the utility can track that.
Yeah, I haven't dug into this section of it. I was wondering the same thing.
We may just have to get like a average from the state or something. I don't know. what does it say in the above this?
Okay, so here,
Can you use hyperlink? Okay, so it seems like we could just get it from there. I don't know if that,
okay, so the methodology here.
number of establishments and monthly employment. Oh, okay, weird.
Yeah, it's like it must be using some metrics based off of these different number of establishments and type of establishments, and then applying some unknown metrics to that to estimate fuel.
What is an establishment? What is that considered?
I don't know, but the data is coming from this Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development. So let me open the link here. Labor market information, Department of Economic Research. So it's sort of just like economic data for the area.
Do you usually collect that for something like this?
Not in my experience, but I've generally been working with, organizations that would have records on their own specific fuel oil purchasing. So, this seems like something where, as a town, we obviously don't have records on everybody's home and how much oil they purchase, right? So
Yeah.
This seems like some kind of proxy method to try to, hone in on that, which I haven't really run into this kind of way of doing it before, but sounds interesting. I wonder if there is any other. One thing I should have pulled open was the sort of user guide, if there is one for this particular tool. I think they do have one on the MAPC website.
Yeah, I think they do. So NAI. North American Industry Classification System. Do you know what that is?
No.
Oh, classifying business establishments.
Is that from the guide?
No, I just Googled NAICS. Standard used by federal statistical agencies in classifying business establishments for the purpose of collecting, analyzing, and publishing statistical data related to US business economy. Okay. So it's a code. So, okay, so it's like categorizing businesses, and then you're counting how many those businesses you have, and then how many people are employed.
Seems kind of focused on commercial, though.
Yeah.
Whereas I would assume a good portion of the town's fuel oil consumption is residential.
Yeah. Strange. But yeah, I think maybe if we dig into that manual, we can learn more about this.
Yeah, I just pulled it open and okay, it's referencing other things like housing tenure by fuel type and housing tenure by units in structure aggregated at the municipal level. So it does seem like there's some other stuff here for housing. I mean, we can, we don't necessarily have to dive into that here.
Yeah.
Make that be a follow-up action item for, I
Yeah,
can put that on.
okay.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, so this does go on to, I guess we didn't scroll down enough, but so there's this. This looks like number of establishments, so maybe this is sort of covering the commercial part, and then we have down here more of the
Yeah.
households. Okay, so that's gonna lead to some, just purely estimated form of total fuel use.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're just getting it from like state data, like
Yeah,
rating it based on like how big our town is and.
right. In the guide under this section, it's basically like the first question it says is, do you have access to complete heating oil consumption for residential, commercial, and industrial customers? One possible answer is yes. I don't, as far as we know, we don't have that, but I'm not sure if it's worth checking with like Tom or something like that, just to say, does there happen to
Yeah.
be a record?
Yeah, I can ask Jen that too, because
Okay.
she's commission, so I'll ask her for access to Energy Insights and if we have the heating oil. I believe we don't, but I'll just double check.
Okay. And then, okay, so that seems like that's fuel oil. Okay, now we're off road. So I'm not sure. Let's see. This is getting into now. We still in fuel oil? Heating oil? Hmm. So I'm guessing this has to do with like mobile combustion vehicles and so on.
Yeah,
It says off-road, so yeah, in my experience, it typically gets talked about as like fleet vehicles, whether that's on or off-road, I guess. But yeah, just mobile equipment, vehicles, combustion, construction equipment, that type of thing. I'm seeing some links in here about landscaped area. So this also just kind of at first glance here looks like it's asking to, pull up some certain census data and enter some metrics about employment and manufacturing employment and square feet of developed open space. I guess that's from this MAPC data set. Interesting.
yeah, I'm assuming that's to like calculate the the carbon drawdown ability of your town. carbon sink.
Oh,
That's what I'm guessing.
okay. Oh, and construction. Hmm.
So you don't usually enter this landscape data in this?
Well, I guess the question, I mean, what I'm trying to discern here is if the question, I mean, if the, what's trying to get measured here is how much emissions from, vehicles operation or equipment use. I think what they're trying to do here is sort of back into estimates for that, again, without having that direct data on like fuel purchasing. Typically when we've worked with customers that are measuring this, it's, their emissions are associated with vehicles that they operate. So they buy all the fuel for those vehicles. And so that's a little easier to measure. So I think what's happening here is they're trying to come up with estimates for off-road, equipment and vehicles that are burning either like diesel or gas, and
Yeah,
that there's no other way to sort of directly measure. Although we may want to look at sort of depending on what category those things fall into, they could be considered scope 1 or scope 3. And I guess one of the big questions we need to decide here is going to take on scope 3 in general.
is that in this sheet somewhere, in this file?
Yeah, good question. I haven't researched this enough to see how it kind of breaks that down and whether it's sort of an
Says
option.
stationary energy, transportation, and waste. The top.
Sorry, say that again. Oh yeah. Change.
So I don't think that includes scope 3, right?
Yeah, this breakdown is not quite the same as
The scopes, yeah.
1, 2, and 3. So
Assuming they chose those categories because those are the largest causes of emissions.
yeah. Right.
So yeah, I don't think this inventory looks at the different scopes. It just takes those 3 categories basically.
Yeah, it's just kind of right. It's sort of like these are the big areas for like as a municipality that you probably want to look at and think about. They do have
Yeah.
let's see, a little bit of a scope breakdown here in the manual. Yeah, transportation is an interesting one at the municipal level because
Yeah, I don't know how you would calculate that. I mean,
right. I think we can probably dig in a little more on the
I'm sure they have a method in here.
right.
You just need to. I'm sure it like involves like the census, like, the population, and then they probably assume a certain number of cars or something, and then however big your town is and
Yeah,
some sort of canned amount of driving.
yeah, I think what we'll want to look at, dig into a bit more there is like, is it all just canned, and based on predetermined metrics and assumptions, or, how much of it is taking into account the specifics of your town's infrastructure and,
Yeah,
and participation in things like electric vehicles and such. In the manual, they're describing some, I guess they make a distinction here between what they call in-boundary transportation and out-of-boundary transportation. So I think we need to parse that out a little bit more.
yeah, probably have to take into account like the train and buses.
Yep, yep. Okay, well, I think,
So I mean, but this page has all the inputs, so I
right,
think the rest of the worksheets kind of just calculate based off of this one.
yep. Yeah, so I guess, on two levels, on the first level, what we need to do is kind of like figure out what this particular section is doing and try what it's trying to do. And then also just at the higher level, just basically get a little more of an understanding of what this tool's overall methodology is for dealing with these different categories of things.
Yeah, we should both read the manual.
Yeah. Right. That's probably a good idea. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's good to just kind of get into it a little bit and see. So
Yeah, I mean, it seems like all those links kind of, can provide, the data for all these different inputs.
yeah, yeah, which is nice.
So it's pretty, laid out.
Mhm.
Mass vehicle census summary statistics. You go down. So yeah, that's, just based on mass state data.
Yep. So this has, vehicles registered with valid.
Okay, so then we could probably look up Wakefield in that database
Yep.
and it should have everything.
So it looks like they took the tactic here of just entering no data. There was no.
Electric vehicles, yeah. I wonder if WMGLD would have anything on electric vehicles.
Vehicle census summary statistics. Okay, it looks like this MAPC data common site has town. Oh wow, it has some town specific vehicle census statistics. That's cool. Probably from the RMV.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're looking at, total vehicles, these estimates for daily vehicle miles traveled. Okay, so there's passenger and commercial. Okay. So I think the follow-up here, similar to the section above, is just to kind of dig in a little more, follow some of the links and see what data we can pull out and start populating.
Mhm.
All right, then we come to optional question instructions. May use this table to enter vehicle gasoline and diesel consumption data from Mass Energy Insight. Okay, so this is again a for municipal.
Municipal, yeah, so yeah, we can see what we have in there.
Right. Yeah, and I think, obviously to the extent that we have this data, it would be good to see.
Yeah,
Um, okay. So same as above with the Mass Energy Insight.
yeah. Yeah, so once I get access to that, I'll dig in and see what's available, what we can fill in with it.
Cool.
Do you want to save this file on like a Google Drive or something?
Sure. Is that allowed?
I think so. I don't know.
I'm going to save as. I'm just gonna, for the moment, I'm just gonna go ahead and put today's date on it, and then I can send this to you.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
yeah, yeah, I guess that's probably safer.
Do you know if there's any provisions for sharing a file such as this along with the official meeting minutes that get recorded on the
Oh, is
website
a
and such?
like a attachment?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we should do that. Because we don't want to put this into the public yet.
Well, yeah, true.
Okay, so we got MBTA, that's good. Commuter rails at the bottom, okay. Buses, yeah, so, yeah, this tool is like very centered around Massachusetts, so it's like really good.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I don't think we would have nearly as many links and data sources available if this was the other one. Now this one says communities will need to discuss with with RTAs the best methodology. Okay, so regional transit authority buses. So this is out. This is not MBTA then. So are there any regional transit authorities that operate around here?
No,
Okay.
yeah,
For now, I'll just make a note over here. RTAs.
yeah, I mean, the only public buses we have are MBTA and like school buses, I don't know if they count.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Municipally operated bus routes, would that include schools? I don't know.
Municipally operated on-road or trolley buses.
No, I guess that wouldn't be municipally operated because it's school operated.
Oh yeah. But although, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't think we have that.
You don't think we would have that?
Like Wakefield doesn't have their own buses that they run around town, or like shuttles or anything. Right?
But what about the school buses?
Yeah, but those are not municipally operated. They're school and municipal are different.
Okay.
I mean, we could make a note of like, where do school buses fall into? and just make sure that we don't forget about it.
Yeah, let me just pop a little note in here. So school buses, question mark.
Yeah,
So yeah, maybe the manual has some guidance on whether
yeah,
school district operations sort of fall under municipal. I don't know, is that how to think of it?
yeah. I mean, I guess when I think municipal, like I think like, the town. It falls under the town operations, the town budget, and like the school operations and the school budget are separate.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And so then I guess I would just be curious to learn more about like the assumptions that go into some of these other transportation data metrics, whether they account for the fact that there are bus fleets within the town operating that aren't directly operated by the municipality, but
Yeah,
they're just sort of driving around out there. So
yeah. I mean, I would hope there's some note in the manual about schools.
yeah. Yep. Okay. Actually, yeah, I'm just checking here. So Natick has this example, RTA 1 bus routes, city town annual gas consumption. So I'm curious what they've put in here. I don't know if there is any other regional, transportation in Natick. Or did they sort of assume that the school fleet fell under that category? But yeah, we can look into that some more.
Yeah.
All right, now waste.
So, yeah, hopefully we can get this data from the DPW. I can definitely look into that.
Okay. So the first question, so
Curbside composting data, we can just get on the Black Earth. Yeah, we could probably calculate like the percent of waste by like how many people have signed up.
so this is asking what percent of collected organic material is sent to composting facility versus anaerobic digestion. So if it was, I mean, everything that's collected is composted, right?
Yeah,
They don't like run on anaerobic digestion.
no,
So,
no.
so we sort of know the answer to that, and the answer would be this, which is 100% composting, right?
Well, because not everybody uses the service, so I don't think it would be 100%.
Right.
Well,
But this is,
yeah, I guess that's confusing. Okay, so it's just
yeah,
break down anaerobic versus composting. Okay, I guess it would be 100% then, because if it's just asking where does your compost go, or where does your organic material go? But we do have the yard waste, and I don't know where that goes. So that's another piece.
Right. I wonder if that comes in down here. Garden waste.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so just starting from up here again, so I think it's saying waste collected excluding separated organics. So if we're going to be considering the black earth compost as a separate stream,
yeah,
then I think for that stream,
it's just asking,
we can kind of do this, which is, yes, we know that for curbside collected organics, we're saying 100% of that is
yeah,
composted, right?
yeah,
So I'm gonna say yes, and I'm just gonna, no.
yeah, I mean, it's still not clear to me though whether that includes yard waste.
Right. So,
Okay, if you answered yes to previous question, complete below table. The community has a waste categorization study. So, okay,
do you know if we have something like that?
I don't know. I doubt it, but I can ask DPW.
Okay. So I think, yeah, so. What is GPC?
I don't know.
Hmm.
It must be some authority on waste that had different categories.
Yeah. So I guess what this is basically saying is that in your waste stream that excludes any composted organics, if you know what your sort of breakdown is among these categories, you can enter it. If you don't know, you can just say no and use the defaults, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, then. Pass.
yeah, I'm assuming we go to Deer Island too.
Yeah.
I don't know how much is served by it. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's, yeah. We want to check the guide on how to think about that.
Yeah, I don't know how they got that. It says if you're, yeah, okay.
So that should be easy to look up. So I'm just kind of, okay.
Okay, some private hauler composting, that would be Black Earth number. So if you want to make a note on line 303, Black Earth.
Okay. So this is just asking for the total amount of,
Yeah. And then the Republic Services is our municipal. Yeah. Well, I think they would both be private. I don't know what the difference in municipally collected and private, because I mean, contract both of them.
yeah, I guess, wait, so you're saying, yeah, so for our like,
Curbside pickup is, I mean, I guess it's, yeah, it's municipally like contracted.
But
So,
Melissa, in the apartment I live, the building I live in, they have 6 units. So I think is the garbage picked up for us? I think we have a private hauler to pick
okay,
up our
yeah,
garbage.
you're
So I
right.
think if it's over 4 units, don't you have to contract yourself? Like my
Yeah.
landlord contracts with a private hauler, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how we would get that data though, for all the,
You could learn the number of buildings that contract private haulers, but I don't know what more you'd learn.
Hmm.
You might
yeah,
be able to
we'll have
estimate it.
to, you'll have to make a note. Because I'm assuming other towns have had this too,
Right.
so. So just make a note on like, large residential building haulers.
I have a question. What about the recycling that does the, single source recycling? Is there a place on this data collection for that?
Wasn't it up where it like split out?
Oh, paper, got it. Yeah.
Or no, it would be, I think it was up more. I don't know, it was just, huh. Yeah, it is weird, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I was wondering the same thing. Where did the recycling kind of come into this?
Hmm. That's strange.
I guess something else to look into the guide for.
Yeah. If you're gonna determine the, oh no, that's organic recycling. Huh. Yeah. I mean, I guess they don't really care about recycling. They really just care about,
Right.
because that is what
Yeah,
it's come from, you know?
right. I mean, emissions wise, recycling is just materials coming in and then leaving again. And there's
Yeah,
transportation
it's just
associated.
the reduction of trash, basically.
Right.
So have the trash amount that we don't need the recycling.
Right. That's why this is focused on the incineration and composting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can just verify that, but okay. All right. Wow. And then there we are at the end of the, so then there's a population question.
All right, we're done. Great. Okay, I mean, this seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
just need to, look at the guide, and make sure we wrap our heads around like this whole thing and how it's calculating and
right.
what it's taking into account or not. But yeah, so I'll look into the Mass Energy Insights and the DPW data.
Okay, and I will definitely look into the heating oil and off-road stuff.
Okay.
I can check out this transportation stuff too.
Okay.
And then you're kind of on the waste thing.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, this actually seems pretty manageable. I think, as you said, once we get into the guide and then as we start deconstructing all of the calculations, there might be things that we, have more questions about or feel need to be addressed differently. But I feel pretty good about this as a general framework, like we said, because it's mass specific and some neighboring towns have used it. And yeah, I'm excited to see if we can get into the Mass Energy Insights data and yeah, keep kind of building this out.
Yeah. Sounds good. So do we want to pick a next meeting date? Get
Yeah,
that Calendar. Did we set in what day we were gonna meet regularly, monthly? I can
we have
look at,
not, as far as I know.
let me just check the file.
So we could say this is the Wednesday before the Thursday ESC
Yeah,
meeting.
okay.
Could stick to that as one option.
The Wednesday before what?
The Wednesday before, wouldn't it be next week on Thursday? That's the commit.
No, it's the second Thursday of the month.
Oh, sorry. So 2 Wednesdays before, right?
We could do on the fourth Wednesday of the month or something.
Yeah, so that would put the next one at
26th of October.
Yep. That sounds good.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, we do need to like submit those notes for posting.
Yeah. I
So
would.
if you want to like clean them up and send them to me for review, and then we can send them off.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll put them in, shoot them over to you to take a look at, and then they just get sent to that same postings email address.
No, it gets sent to the communications manager, Jen McDonald. I can give you her email.
Okay.
She puts them up on our website.
All right. Andrea, thanks for joining us. Anything else that you wanted to?
No, I just want to say I'm as equally impressed with your efforts in this arena as the other two that I've enjoyed watching. So thank you so much for what you're doing for the town, and I look forward to seeing how this goes. So thank you. Good to see you again, Melissa.
You too.
Okay, be seeing you around.
All right, take care.
Okay,
Good to meet you,
bye-bye.
Andrea.
Thank you, Chris.
night.
Bye. We need to do the meeting adjourn thing.
Okay. Move
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
So moved.
All right.
Second and everything, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just, all right.
Okay,
I'll send the notes out and talk to you later.
sounds good. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.